Here we have a site that displays a long list of movies. One thing we may want to do with this list is to paginate it. And one Elixir library to help you do pagination is Scrivener. There are a few different Scrivener libraries to help you handle different kinds of pagination. Since our project is a Phoenix app that uses Ecto, we'll use the Scrivener Ecto library. The first thing we want to do is include the Scrivener Ecto dependency. And then add it to our applications. Now we can fetch our dependencies with Mix. We'll want to use Scrivener in our Repo module. Then we can set the page size we want to use. It's set to 10 by default. Let's set ours to 4. This adds a paginate function to our repo that we can use when we query the database. We'll go to our movie controller, and the index action is where we're fetching our movies from the database. Let's update this to include the paginate function in order to return a set of our movies. Paginate returns a Scrivener page struct. If we take a look at the Scrivener Ecto documentation, we see that this struct provides us with a few different fields we can use to help handle pagination. We'll update our render function to return our movies with page.entries, and we'll also make the page variable, which is our Scrivener page struct, accessible to our template. Let's restart our server, and if we refresh our page, we can see only 4 results returned. Since we're using the paginate function and passing in the params, Scrivener will use the values of page and page size to perform the pagination. We can test this by setting the page parameter in our URL. And changing it gives us different results. Now let's add pagination links to our site. Going to our movie index page, we'll add a link to the previous page, and in it include the page parameter. For the value, we'll use the page number field provided by the Scrivener page struct and subtract 1 from it. And then a link for the next page that also has a page parameter, again with the value of the page number, but this time we'll add 1 to it. And if we refresh our page, we can see our pagination links are there. And clicking next page increases the page number and loads our next set of movies. One improvement we could make to this is to only display the previous and next page links when we actually have a previous or next page of results to display. Let's go back to our index template, and we'll update our previous page link to display if the page number is greater than 1. Then let's also wrap our next page link in an if statement to display if the page number is less than the total pages. Refreshing our page, we can see the previous page link is hidden because we're on our first page, and if we click next page, it's displayed. So great, our pagination is working, but it doesn't look too pretty right now. There's another Scrivener library, Scrivener HTML, which provides view helpers for Scrivener. Let's add it to our project. We'll open our mix file and add Scrivener HTML to our dependencies. And then to our applications. Then let's stop our server and fetch our dependencies. Since we're using Phoenix HTML, we'll need to configure the routes helper module so we can use Scrivener HTML. So let's paste this into our config file. Now we can go to the view that we want to render our pagination links on. In this case, our movie view. And we'll import scrivener.html. With that done, we can go back to our movie index template and remove our old pagination links, replacing it with pagination links page, where page is our Scrivener page struct. Let's restart our server, and if we go back to our site, we see our pagination is styled and works. By default, Scrivener HTML uses Bootstrap pagination styles. If we go back to our template, We can specify the CSS framework we want to use with the View Style option. For example, if we were using Foundation, we would just update the View Style option with Foundation. There are a lot of other options we can use to customize our HTML. For example, we can update our previous and next links by including next and previous with what we want to display. And if we go back to our site, we can see the changes on our page. For a full list of supported CSS frameworks and other pagination options, check out the Scrivener HTML README. I hope you enjoyed this episode and happy coding!